The concept, so simply described by Abraham Lincoln as government by the people, of the people, for the people, is fundamental to our two nations. Your Congress and our Parliament are the twin pillars of our civilizations and the chief among the many treasures that we have inherited from our predecessors.
Canadian Prime Minister wins suspension of Parliament, and it says Governor General Michelle Jean, the representative of the Queen Elizabeth, Canada's head of state, agreed to Harper's request to shut down Parliament until January 26. Parliament was reconvened just weeks ago after October 14th election. Now, he lost control of the government, became the minority party. But was refusing to allow elections within Parliament to have a new Prime Minister seated. That's how parliamentary systems work. Our country was much more similar to this until 1913 with the 17th Amendment, when states' legislators stopped appointing senators. That was their trump with states' rights over total federalism. But this is Imperium here, because she is the head of state, and Canadians and Australians and others in the 20-plus Commonwealth nations always say, oh, well, that's just figurative, that's just ceremonial, her as the head of state. No. If you read the charters of these Commonwealths, it is the parliaments that are ceremonial, and it is the Queen's governorship, or through her governors, that is actually the power. So there it is in Reuters. And every time I mention these reports, people just don't believe me. And Webster Tarpley's written books on the British Imperium, written many articles on it and its form of government. So in the time we have left in this limited segment, Webster, I would love to, well, first off, welcome you to the studio, but then also give you a chance, you bet, give you a chance to break down the article.
Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you for inviting me. It's wonderful to be here. And congratulations to you for everything that you're doing. This is the first I've heard of this. There was supposed to be a vote of no confidence against Harper by the Parliament. Now remember, under the Canadian and indeed British Commonwealth system, the Queen is the head of state of all of these places, and it's about 70 countries. It's a huge group. And in the case of Canada and Australia, we have these Royal Governors General. And the Royal Governor General is the guy who's just done this guy, Governor General Michel Jean. So he's the personal representative of the Queen. This guy, Governor General Michel Jean. So he's the personal representative of the Queen, and you can see that he has more power than the Parliament and the Prime Minister. Meaning that we had this agitation in Canada in the 1960s and 70s, saying that the Constitution had to be repatriated, right? They wanted to bring the Constitution home to Canada, and it turns out that was not done. I would say for people who have trouble with this concept, there are two examples. You can see that the Queen actually runs the show. One is in the Canadian NAFTA debate, in other words, to get the North American Free Trade Agreement passed. The Queen named new senators to the Canadian Senate to stack it, right, to pack it, to make sure that there was a majority.
That's right. They're supposedly going to be elected, but as soon as they didn't go the way she wanted, she came in.
Packed it.
Yeah.
Right. And then the other one is maybe even more spectacular. In Australia, Gow Whitlam, about 1975, was the Prime Minister of Australia, and he said, look, there's an oil crisis. I'm going to make direct deals with Arab oil producers, oil for technology. Australia will produce technology for them. We'll get our oil guaranteed. And London and New York said no, and at that point, the Governor-General of Australia intervened to overthrow Whitlam and impose Malcolm Fraser. And it was a complicated thing because the Australian Parliament immediately voted no confidence in the new puppet, Fraser, and tried to get Whitlam back. And there was a period of about 6 months of tremendous chaos.
Who won that fight?
The Queen.
From the onset of this nation in 1776, that was a rebellion, as I said earlier, against the very same Saxe-Coburg-Gothas, the very same German family. That had just been in for 2 generations by then in England. King George III, removing governors, removing legislators, appointing governor generals, bringing back in this type of system, and we had a war over it because the British soldiers were coming to then disarm the people and to put troops on the streets of the 13 colonies. So, same families, same players, same nations, same groups. Those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it, and that's why it's so important to study history. And those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it.
May God bless America.